So the first guest we have is Arun Pai. Arun Pai is a quintessential Bangalorean, IIT Madras, PGP 1993. So he joined Arthur Andersen from campus and corporate finance in Delhi, London, Mumbai offices. In 2000, he quit his corporate job and been an entrepreneur for almost 20 years now. And he founded this company called BangaloreWALKS and has been a tour guide since ever since he founded BangaloreWALKS. One of my first things that I did after I joined IIM-B in 2006 was to go on a Bangalore walk with Arun. So he has told the story of Bangalore to, I don't know, countless thousands of people, from global CEOs, international participants, heads of state, to even school students. He does nature walks and runs and history walks and all of that. And he's been, his walks have been a part of our IIM-B's executive education programs as well. So a good example of how you can make a successful career out of what you are passionate about.
Yeah, hi, good evening and welcome. Good to see you all back on campus. So I've been on Arun Pai's Bangalore walk. It's amazing. So before you folks leave Bangalore, you must go and take one of his walks at least. He'll give you a completely different perspective on Bangalore that you haven't seen before.
May I invite Arun Pai to speak?
Yeah, Namaskara. Namaskara. How many of you are from Bangalore? Raise your hands. Just 2 hands. Aren't you all in IIM Bangalore? How many of you are from Bangalore? You can raise your hand. All of you are in Bangalore. This is a question I ask all my audiences. When do you feel you are in Bangalore? You are studying here. You have come here to study. How many of you are from Bangalore? Lovely. How many of you know the name of the tree out there? The tree with the pinkish flowers on top right? The big canopy tree. It's all over Bangalore. And if you go around Bangalore, you get this huge canopy. Does anybody know what it's called? Raise your hand. Have you heard of a tree called the rain tree? That's called the rain tree, by the way. Okay? And I'm just praying that it doesn't get the rain. But if you've heard of somebody called Alexander Humboldt, and I don't expect you might not have, if you have, you know who he is. We owe a lot of our scientific and technological discoveries of the 18th and 19th centuries to him. And he took a bet that in South America, the Amazon River and the Orinoco River meet. And everyone said, no way. So he went there and spent 2 months and he climbed the tallest mountains in the world. And when he went there, he discovered this. And there he found this tree. And the sketch of the discovery of the junction of these two rivers is the rain tree, which is a tree from Brazil. And how it came to Bangalore is a story I'll tell you when you come on my walk. But I just wanted to give you that background, and I'm happy that the rain tree has not got the rain. I've been called here to speak about my career. I'm not sure why they called me, because I've done something incredibly different from everybody else, not even in my group, but anyone I know. No tour company comes to campus for jobs, right? I'm a tour guide. So if you're looking at me and saying, this is an old guy, I passed out 30 years ago, I'm older than many of your dads. If your dad was on stage talking, you're not going to listen, right? You're not. You don't have to be polite like Rishi sir said. You don't have to. And the fact is, there's not much we can tell you that is actually useful. We're out of date. We don't know what's going on. We get outdated every 5 years in this world. And so I don't expect that I can really tell you anything that you'll really learn. But I'll tell you what I did, and maybe something out of it will interest you, okay? But before we do that, I'm going to ask you to play along. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for 30 seconds. Try to forget where you are. You're in Bangalore. I'm going to try to ask you to imagine something else in the past, all right? Please be nice to me. I'm an old guy. Close your eyes. Okay, thank you. We are going to travel back in time 232 years. It's the year 1790. And each one of you, whether you like it or not, is a member of Lord Cornwallis's English army. You're currently advancing on Bangalore. You're about to fight a battle for Bangalore. Imagine the times. There was no electricity. The only means of transport was horseback. The only means of communication was shouting. And the only means of combat was hand to hand. And each one of you has got onto a ship in faraway England, sailed halfway across the world. It's taken 6 months on what is most likely a one-way ticket. And you come all this way to Bengaluru, a small town in South India, to make your future. You can open your eyes now. And just like you, there was a battalion of British soldiers sitting in this area, not exactly close by, 230 years ago. And they had come here to fight a battle. And a battle that was going to change the history of my city, my country, and arguably of the world. Do you want to know more? I'll tell you later. Just hold on to that story. Let me come back to my story. I just want to give you some context. I graduated in 93, 30 years ago. We were the batch that had graduated. The Berlin Wall had just fallen. Soviet Russia had just collapsed. The Indian economy was opening. Infosys had just had an IPO, which was undersubscribed. It was a very different world. There was no internet. Okay, and we graduated, and all people were coming to India, because 1 billion people. So all of us, I got placed in a company where I learned how to wear a suit and a tie, and I learned how to do PowerPoint 2.0, where we had to make slides, and we got into consulting, and we told people how to run their business. It was a heady time for us. I traveled the world. I got my first car, because Maruti had just come to India, all those things. I did all the good things. I rode the wave. And so for the first 6 years of my career, there was a wave. When companies were coming into India, they were looking for MBAs. I rode the wave. I spent 7 years doing all that stuff. But something inside me said, I don't like this, but I'm good at it. And as Rishi sir said, I was good at Excel. At that time, 2.0. We're all good at what we do. We'll fit into companies. It's not necessarily what we like to do. And so after 7 years, I said, this is not what I want to do, but I did not have the guts to quit. That's when the next wave came. It was called Y2K, dot-com boom. It was not cool to have a job. It was cool to do a startup. Everybody was quitting. So I also quit. But I didn't take all the risks. I didn't do a startup. I said, let me join a small firm that is advising startups. So I spent some time working with young people who would go to cafes and go to venture capitalists and say, give me a lot of money, I've got an idea that will change the world. Money would exchange hands, and then I would be sent to help the company actually go do the business that they were supposed to do. I worked with 8 companies, and after 1 year I realized nobody had the experience to build world-beating businesses out of India, and they'd raised lots of money, and it all went down. So from up close, I saw what went wrong when a lot of overheated money attracted young people and started. All good people, all smart people. All of them wanted to build the biggest e-shopping network 20 years ago. Some of us said Amazon might come. Amazon has come. Right? And so all these things happened. 3 years passed, I had enough. I had been 9 years in my corporate life. I had seen things, I had done stuff I didn't like. So I went back one day and I said, you know what? I am lucky in one respect. I do not have an EMI. I had taken a call not to take an EMI. So I said, I'm confused in life, let me take a break. I took a 6-month break. It's a luxury I know many of my peers have still not taken in life. I took a 6-month break, and I took a piece of paper, not this one, but a similar one, and I wrote 5 things by which I want to live my life. I'll tell you what I wrote 20 years back, and I'll tell you if I have lived my life or not, and this is what I want to leave you with, that it's good at times to sit back, decide what you want to do with your life. It's never too early, never too late. It's never the right answer. Age changes you. But for whatever it is worth, I'll tell you what I did. The first abbreviation I came up with was UTM, unlimited time and money. So just think for a moment. If you had unlimited time and money, what would you do with your life? Think about that. A lot of times we do things because we want money, and then we say we don't have time. Or we have all the time in the world, like it happened in the pandemic, and we don't have any money because our business is dying. But imagine you had unlimited time and money, what would you do? It's a very important question to ask, because otherwise you spend all your life doing stuff without knowing why you're doing it. Then you don't have the time to enjoy it or the health to enjoy it. So UTM is a mantra for me. So you think about, I have no money, but unlimited time. Or I have no time, but unlimited money. You find the balance. Many of you are in finance. They talk about balanced portfolios. What's a balanced portfolio? You don't put all your eggs into one basket, right? Do you put all your assets into one high-risk category? I don't think that's wise. You may make a lot of money, you may fail. Why would you do anything different with your life? What's your biggest asset? It's your time and your health. Why would you put all your time and health into one basket, which might be one career, where you cannot opt out? The exact strategy used for a balanced portfolio with your monetary assets, I find very few people use with the assets that really count, time, health, and stuff like that. So I decided that I will figure out my balanced life in a very different way. You know, all you guys are entering a placement market where the numbers are staggering in terms of salaries. Can someone tell me what's a good salary after 5 years? Just throw a number at me, monthly salary. That would make you feel good. Throw a number, come on. After 5, 6 years, what's a good monthly salary that would make you feel, this is it. This is what I'm aspiring for money-wise. I want a number, I'm not proceeding. Sorry? 1 crore per month. Okay, is that a reasonable salary, or is he just playing around with me because I'm very old and I don't know? Is that realistic? Can someone give me a realistic number? After 5, 6 years of working, how many lakhs a month would you feel that? Hey, come on, you guys have to give me a number. 5 lakhs. See, we should never talk in abstract stuff. We should talk. Okay, say supposing you believe at 5 lakhs a month in 6 years you have achieved it and you will sacrifice everything you want for it. I sat and wrote on a piece of paper. I said, okay, I want to earn 5 lakhs a month. Why should I give 30 days of my time to an organization? Can I be really smart and earn 5 lakhs in 5 days, so that 25 days of the month I get time to do what I like? So whatever my financial target is, be audacious and say, let me see if I can develop something that allows me to earn the same amount, but using much less of my time without giving commitment to an organization, to constraints. These are just ways of thinking. Otherwise, you say, I'm in an organization, I follow the rules of the organization. I grow within it, I cannot define it. The moment you say, the world is mine, the world is at my feet, I have a financial target, I have a health target, I have a time target, can I get it? So that's the second thing I wrote. And the last thing, which I just wanted to mention here, was that, and I'll come back to the story I started, which I did not finish. In those 6 months that I was doing nothing, Rishi sir mentioned running. I'm a runner. There is a running event held every October 2nd in campus, right? Any of you ran it last year? Oh, it wasn't held? Oh, it didn't happen. What a pity. So we used to have this 5-kilometer, what we call the marathon. Incidentally, I won that race in both years in '93, and I've kept running. Running is my passion. I still run. I ran this morning 5 kilometers, okay? So running is what I like to do. And so when I was doing nothing, I started running, and I began discovering my city. Then I went for a trip to the US, and I went to Las Vegas. Some of you might have gone there or heard about it. In the middle of the desert, an entrepreneur has built a city. And I went to a casino, which is shaped like a pyramid. It was called Luxor. And I paid $25, and I went and saw an fake Egyptian pharaoh in a fake Egyptian mummy in the desert in America, and I paid money, and I said, what's going on? In India, we have so much history, we talk about it. We always say other countries do so much with their history. Why don't we do something? So I said, okay, India is my product, and I will package and market it. And that's how I began my journey of figuring out how we can tell the story of our country. And I said, let's get even more basic. Why should I talk about my country? Let me talk about my city. And I began talking about MG Road. And so for fun, I did this on a run with my running friends. I told the story in 2005. I've been doing it every day for the last 17 years, and I'm still doing it. I did it this morning. I'll do it tomorrow again. And the reason I'm telling you this is that I get up every morning with excitement to tell that story again, the story which I began earlier about the army. And the reason I do it is because people want to hear it. There is a niche here, business-wise, that people want to hear. And so finally, the other mantra that I wrote on that piece of paper, which I live by today's day, look for an opportunity that no one has found before because it's not written down somewhere. Okay, it's not a vertical, it's not a category. If you think you have an opportunity. When you graduate, you have investment banking, finance, marketing. Somebody else has defined the categories for you. But when you spend time and think, is there something in this world that I can do where I'm unique? Is there some need that the people want, which I think I know more than anybody else? And if you think you have found it, the next thing is, can I be the best in the world at it? You have to think like that. And how do you do that? You see how it's done around the world. And once you think you're the best in the world at it, the market will come to you, whatever the field may be. The next thing I try to do is when you get a job or a profession, can you say it in your native language, not in English? English is full of jargon. But if you can explain what you like to do or what you want to do in your own mother tongue to a nephew or a niece who's 12 years old, then you're getting onto something. I'm saying this because I saw the investment market up close. It's all about the vertical, the space, the positioning, the PowerPoint step. How do I pitch to an investor? How do I flip my investments? How do I make returns? But actually, when you don't need to explain to somebody else what you're doing, life is easy. So the other mantra I used is, do not use other people's money. I had seen when you use other people's money, taking risk is not really a risk. But when you start using whatever you have with you and say, with that I will make a success, that is true entrepreneurship. And so when I got into this idea that I will take walks, I said I'll give myself 6 months. I will not take a paisa from anybody else, and I will do the entire thing myself, from marketing to sales to branding to execution to actually getting people to park with money. Professor asked me to speak about the things I learned in campus, and I learned a lot of good things. But there's one thing I did not learn, and I will use this platform to say it. I was never taught to sell. I was never taught to make somebody part with money. It is the biggest challenge to make somebody part with 10 rupees. And I urge all of you that if you want to ever do anything on your own, which is not working in an organization and draw a salary, is to figure out how to communicate, how to sell, and that's something I learned much later. And the last 2 points I'll leave you with, and I unfortunately think I've brought the rain in, is this. There was a course we had called Written and Oral Communications. I don't know if it's still there. Is it still there? Walk. So in that, in that course, you were supposed to come and talk with the mic to people like this. I play the guitar, and I'm sure some of you out here are performers, and you like to go to a stage and perform, and I was that sort of character. So I got my guitar into the class, and I sold Land on the Dark Side of the Moon, and I sang Pink Floyd. And the class was aghast, and the professor, I should also say, was aghast, and I got a very poor grade. Because at that time, communication in a different way was just not considered cool. Interestingly, that's my profession. I'm a performer. I take a mic, I take a guitar, I talk. And our mainstream education does not train you to be a performer. And all of us have a performer lurking in us. And in today's world, the TikTok world, the social media world, the influencer world, it is all about how you can communicate to an audience with a microphone. And it's a skill that you must pick up, whether you like it or not. It's happening in companies. And many of us did it without realizing it. One of my classmates is a professor in Australia. IIM classmates, and he makes me a case study of how I took a guitar class and how I became a performer. So the thing I'm trying to say is there'll be something you do in these 2 years. It may not be in class. I used to run, I used to play music, I used to talk, I used to do extracurriculars that was not valued in the placement market. But when I wanted to strike out on my own, and when I wanted to market my personality to a market and make them part with money to experience what I could offer them, these were the things that were most valuable. So again, I go back, don't only think about what happens in class, think about what happens in networks, what happens in extracurricular, what you pick up otherwise. And when you finish this talk, go to Google and figure out how that rain tree came to Bangalore. Thank you for your time.